Here we go.
You are about to experience the Skip Bayless Show, brought to you by FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. I will get to LeBron. I will get to Shedeur. I will get to Travis Hunter. But first up, I will definitely get to Micah. Micah. So last week on this show, as you might or might not remember, I said Dallas would win that game. I said 28-27, Dallas Cowboys without Micah against Micah. And I'm sure you chuckled, and I'm sure you said delusional Cowboy fan, and I'm sure you said utterly, completely lost my mind. And you were wrong. I was right. Micah didn't scare me last Sunday night because Micah always, after his rookie year in Dallas, disappointed me. He didn't scare me. He disappointed me. I'll say it again. The last time he wrecked a game was his rookie year. I've said again and again, overhyped and overrated. I've said it again and again that not one but two veteran Dallas Cowboys, DeMarcus Lawrence, Malik Hooker, called out Micah publicly for prioritizing his podcast over winning football games. And here we went again on Sunday night. I don't know how many people predicted to me in my life that Micah would have at least 2 sacks Sunday night to wreak revenge on Jerry Jones. And here's a quick stat for you that I should have pulled up last week, but I didn't. I was overwhelmed with too much anti-Micah. But here's classic vintage, sums it up, anti-Micah. So he's going to have 2 or 3 sacks against the Dallas Cowboys. His career high for a single game was 2.5, achieved 3 times in his career. 2.5, achieved 3 times in his career. Now think about this with me. The first one came in his rookie year. You longtime diehard Cowboy fans will remember this game. At Jerry World, when I least expected it, the Dallas Cowboys at home were down 30-0 after 3 quarters to the Denver Broncos quarterback by Teddy Bridgewater. What? 30-0. It wound up 30-16 with 2 Dak garbage time scores with 2-point conversions. 30-16 was the final. But we were heavily favored to win the game. We're down 30-0 after 3 quarters. And in that game, Micah did have 2.5 sacks against Teddy Bridgewater in a game we were down 30-0 after 3 quarters. That's Micah Parsons vintage. Then we have to skip a year. He didn't have any 2.5 sack game his second year as a Cowboy. And his second 2.5 sack game came his third year in Carolina against a rookie quarterback named Bryce Young. A rookie quarterback, miniature rookie quarterback named Bryce Young. 2.5 sacks in that game. Dallas won that game 30-10. Then his final 2.5 sack game for the Dallas Cowboys came in his final game for the Dallas Cowboys. It was the last game last year against arch rival Washington at Jerry World. But Washington was playing nobody. Washington was secured for the playoffs. Done deal, over and out. Jaden Daniels played a few snaps early, but it was mostly Marcus Mariota and backups. And Micah had 2.5 front running versus second team sacks in that game. So he's had only 3 games in his career as Micah Parsons in which he went over 2 sacks, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5. And all 3 of them, I can put a big old asterisk beside them. Big old asterisk. All 3 of them. They weren't in some monumental game that he wrecked against Philadelphia for the division title or Washington when it really mattered. Or some big game, I don't know, against Baltimore, Detroit, Kansas City, any big game. Did he wreck? Nope. So the odds of Micah on Sunday night getting 2 to 3 sacks were slim to none to me. And he was given, and I underline the word given, as in handed, 1 sack for the game. 1 sack for the game that was not a sack. I'm sorry, if you ankle tackle a quarterback who's running straight ahead at the line of scrimmage, and that quarterback falls forward and should have been given a 1-yard gain on the play, but was given only line of scrimmage, that's not a sack to me. So Micah had 1 cheap, fraudulent, shouldn't have counted sack on Sunday night on a play on which I give him hustle, but it's desperate kind of hustle. On a play in which they left Jake Ferguson, the tight end, to single block Micah on the weak side, on the strong side where the tight end was. And Micah looped around him, and to his credit, he did not quit on the play because he knows chase down ambush sacks are his quickest way, easiest way to get a sack. And he got one on Jared Goff. Remember the Detroit game in the opener? He got a chase down LeBron James Memorial block sack, an ambush sack, a blindside sack on opening night, and then was given one on Sunday night. And obviously, in these first 4 games, Micah has been on his best behavior. He knows I've questioned him. He knows he's questionable. He knows he is faded down the stretch of every season because he wears down, wears out. He's not a physical football player. He looks the part, 6'3-ish, 250-ish, and he can flat fly. I give you that. I've always given you that. He's got quickness, and he has burst, and he has speed. He has real speed. He has 4.4-ish kind of 40-yard speed. So what? Is he a physical, will-imposing football player? A real badass on the... Nope, he's not. He's not that guy. I don't see any killer in Micah Parsons, as in football killer, as in natural born, as in can't block him when it matters most. I don't see that. I see the flash and dash plays, and the public is head over heels in love with the flash and dash plays that don't translate into sacks or winning. So please think about this. And I don't hate Micah Parsons. He seems like a nice enough guy. I just think his priorities are, he doesn't care that much about football. He sort of woke up as a kid and said, man, I'm big and fast. I can do this. But is there Charles Haley operating here? Is there Reggie White? Is there LT? Is there Ray Lewis? Is there Derek Brooks? These are cold-blooded football killers, leaders, dominators, will imposers. Those guys I just named, Lawrence Taylor, the Giants, every time I name one of those guys, they played for a defense that was just hellaciously, suffocatingly, domineeringly dominant, that just took the league by storm and tore it apart and shut it down. Think about all of them. Derek Brooks in 2002, Tampa. My guy, Derek. Know him, love him. Just the will of a lion. And my God, when I think about my guy, Charles Haley, we had our battles, but I fought for him to be in the Hall of Fame where he belonged. I mean, these guys, Charles Haley on those dynastic Cowboy defenses. As Troy said a couple of weeks ago on Monday Night Football, I wouldn't have 3 rings without Charles Haley, because he was the tone setter, the cold-blooded killer. He wrecked the game when they went to the 49ers after he was a 49er, traded to Dallas in 92. That championship game at Candlestick, I was there. He wrecked it. He took it over in ways no other Cowboy could have taken that game over, because he wanted to show the 49ers how wrong they were. Micah's not made of that stuff. Micah was under extraordinary pressure to live up and to teach Jerry a lesson for trading him, and the world wanted Jerry to be taught a lesson, and I did not, because Jerry did the right thing. Jerry said after the game, very simply, he paid Dak because he's indisposable. Micah wasn't. Well, he wasn't because did he turn the Dallas defense into a Super Bowl winning type defense? Just a Super Bowl getting to type of defense? No. I mean, just last season, I've brought this up before, I'm going to say it again. Micah was the driving force of a Dallas Cowboy defense that gave up 35 points in the first half to the New Orleans Saints last year at Jerry World. That gave up 28, Cowboys down 28-6 to the Baltimore Ravens at Jerry World. Just last season, Micah played every snap on defense against the soon-to-be champion. These are the champions, Philadelphia Eagles. I give you that. It was 34-6 Philly and 41-7 Philly at Dallas, at Philadelphia. We didn't have any chance. We didn't have any hope. Micah, we had Micah, but we had no hope. He's not having great player, Hall of Fame player impact on defenses. So help me out here. What did you see on Sunday night? I know what I saw. I saw a Cowboy offense without CeeDee Lamb. No CeeDee Lamb. Didn't play a snap, as you well know. No CeeDee Lamb. No hope. I saw that Cowboy offense against Micah Parsons' Green Bay Packer defense score 37 points in regulation and 40 total points with the field goal in overtime. 40 points Dallas scored. The sorry-ass Dallas Cowboys scored 40 points on Micah Parsons' defense. The same Green Bay Packers who just 2 seasons ago, it's not even, it's just a season and a third ago, in a playoff game at Jerry World, as the 7 seed and a 7-point underdog to the Dallas Cowboys with a defense featuring Micah Parsons. These Green Bay Packers in that playoff game at Jerry World scored 27 points before halftime. It was 27-0. And for the game scored 48 points against a defense featuring Micah Parsons every single snap. Help me out. What's wrong with that picture? So the Green Bay Packers just paid Micah Parsons the most money any non-quarterback in the history of professional football has ever made. Ever made. And in the last 2 games that Green Bay has played at Jerry World, the last 2 games at Jerry World, Micah Parsons' defense, once for Dallas, gave up 48, and Micah Parsons' defense, the next time for Green Bay, gave up 40 in a game that Green Bay was supposed to win by 4 touchdowns, and Micah was supposed to have 4 sacks in and got 1 cheap, fraudulent, bogus sack that shouldn't have counted. And then he was given credit for saving the game. And I give you the hustle play, but remember, Micah is under so much pressure. He's realizing, oh, wait a second. The only way I can get these sacks, my specialty is my speed. How many defensive linemen are capable of pulling off chase down sacks? Not that many. Where the quarterback has decided to go forward and run, and you chase him down. You know, we're in the age of the running quarterback. Dak can't really run. He used to be able to. He really could run at Mississippi State. But Micah has that one weird, rare specialty that doesn't really apply very often because you don't get those chances. So as fate and the football gods would have it, he got one shot in overtime, and we did have it 1st and goal at the 5. I give you that. And we sort of played conservative, gave it to Javonte for a yard. So now it's 2nd and goal from the 4, and Dak takes one look and takes off to his left. And Micah single block by Jake Ferguson, loops all the way around and gets up to his 4.4 full speed. And yeah, he easily catches Dak from behind because it's Dak Prescott. I don't know what he weighs, 235. He's lost some weight, 230 maybe. And he dives and ankle tackles him to keep him from moving forward. Pretty easy tackle. I think he had 2 tackles for the whole night. I think they gave him 3 quarterback pressures. Okay. And 1 cheap, bogus, fraudulent sack. But save the game. Help me out here. Go look at it if you happen to have it still on tape. Go look at Edgerrin Cooper, who I still think is the best player on the Green Bay defense. At that moment, he has drawn a bead on Dak. He's unblocked. He's coming downhill a little sideways, but he can run too. I mean, he might be able to run with Micah. He just might. I just don't think Dak's going to overpower Edgerrin Cooper to the goal line. I could be wrong, but I don't think he's going to get there. I'm not going to give you game-saving tackle. I'm going to give you Dallas went up and down the field against Micah's defense to the point that after the game, he was forced to say that he was pissed off about the way they played on defense, that he was, quote unquote, very disappointed with the way they played on defense. I wasn't surprised. Silly me. I didn't think we could score 40. I thought we could score 28 in regulation. And by the way, by the end of the game, think about this. We started the game with 3 undrafted offensive linemen who were originally undrafted. The center, the right guard, and the right tackle, all to start the game were undrafted, and Micah and company, and that's a top 5 pass rush. Rashawn Gary was pretty quiet, very quiet. Van Ness was pretty quiet. Wyatt's pretty quiet. I don't know. I thought Micah was overall pretty quiet, except for that one quote-unquote splash play on the fraudulent sack and the quote-unquote game-saving tackle. I don't know. So by the end of the game, we actually, because Tyler Guyton, I don't know, I thought they yanked him and then they said he had a concussion issue. I don't know. But then we got a 7th round draft pick in for him. So for really the 4th quarter and the overtime, we're playing with the 7th rounder at left tackle and undrafted over here on the right side of the line, center guard tackle. Yeah, we got Tyler Smith, he just might be the best left guard in pro football, but that's all we had left was Tyler Smith. And they couldn't take advantage of that. Dak didn't get sacked except for that one fraudulent time. Really? Interesting. So what impact is Micah Parsons really having on the defense? I don't know. He had little to no impact on the Dallas defense because we were pathetic last year. And you can argue we're just as pathetic without him, but do we miss him? No. I don't miss him at all. We should have won the game. I take it as a win just because the world thought that we were going to get annihilated and humiliated and embarrassed, and that Micah was going to wreak revenge on Jerry the Fool Jones. And it didn't happen. It looked like it was going to happen for a quarter. And then, as I predicted, my team rose up and said, no, that's enough of this. Not in our house. Dak Prescott is playing at an MVP level, as you well know. And he was spectacular in that game and slightly outplayed Jordan Love, who was also very spectacular. But we forced him into one mistake, just one, late in the first half. James Houston, who I have raved about since preseason, who burst into this league in Detroit with a flurry of sacks. Right now, he's my best pass rusher. He should be utilized, as Chris Collinsworth said on the telecast, more. Got to play him more, give him more shots. He stripped Jordan Love. So Jordan Love made one mistake that got us right back into the game and on top of the game. So we led that football game after a half. We led that football game after three quarters. We led that football game until 1 second remained in the fourth quarter, and we led that football game until 1 second was left in overtime. We outplayed the Green Bay Packers. We deserved to win the football game, but we did not. It ended in a tie, and for the record, I don't have any problem with the tie rules in the National Football League because clearly in the earlier windows, 1 o'clock Eastern window and the 4 o'clock Eastern window, you can't have games go on forever, and you can't risk injuries in games that go on forever. So you have to have some cutoff factor, and I can't think of a better way than to play one more full quarter if it comes to that. I love the idea of giving both teams a shot. You have to give both teams a shot. And both teams got a full shot in overtime, and it wound up 40-40. I don't hate that. I only hated that Dak Prescott said after the game he hates ties, can't live with the tie, he's never satisfied with the tie. Well, then what were we doing on the next play after the fraudulent, bogus, cheap sack? The next play, 3rd down and 3rd and goal from the 4. Dak takes the snap, takes one quick look, and throws the ball in the 20th row. Just threw it way, way, way out of the field of play. I give up. We'll take 3. No, Dak. Cannot. That was your chance to go for the throat. And it wasn't even a do or die go for the throat. In fact, I wouldn't have hated it if they'd gone for it on 4th down, gone for the touchdown, gone for the win. We couldn't stop them. Right now, we can't stop anybody. I'm about to address that. You have to put the ball in play on 3rd down in overtime, knowing full well that your defense is right now the worst defense in pro football. It just is. I don't understand it. I will address that in 1 second. But at that moment, you have to know where you are and what you're up against. You have no protection on defense. You have no bodyguards on defense. You have no wingmen on defense. You have no backup on defense. You have to throw the football where somebody in Cowboy colors has a chance to catch it. I understand you got to be, you don't want to throw the game away. But again, the worst case scenario is you throw a pick 6. You throw something at the goal line, they tip up and grab and run 100 yards, 105 yards back. Okay, that's the worst case. The second worst case is you throw one up for grabs and they go up and grab it and come down in the end zone with it and they get the ball at the 20. Okay, I can't hate it because at least you've still got a chance. But you have to give one of your receivers a chance. Maybe it's Jake Ferguson at whatever he's 6'6"ish, 6'5". Maybe it's jump baller George Pickens. He's the best aerial jump ball artist, deep threat in the league. It's what he does the best, and he pulled off one on Sunday night, as you well saw. Maybe I throw him a fade. They're probably going to double him. Maybe I give him a chance. Sometimes Turpin shocks me. He gets loose in the zones. I don't know. There's a way. Do something. Swing it to Javonte. I don't know. Run a quarterback draw if you want to. Do something. Just give yourself a chance to get to pay dirt. You need 7 if you want to win, not 3. That was extremely painfully predictable. And Dak threw it away and took 3, and I was out of my mind. Of course, I was out of my mind by the Leofow extracurricular hit. I don't know what's he think. He's a kamikaze. He's great on special teams. That was a terrible, terrible 15-yard penalty that cost us a chance to stop them. But were we going to? Probably not. We're the worst team in the league so far on third down. Worst in the league, and we've given up the most yards in the league. I got it. But I'll take the tie because finally I've been all over Trevon Diggs this year because he left his heart in Green Bay. You know, his heart's in Green. I said last week on this podcast, I just wish he'd wear a green jersey on Sunday night and just go stand on the Green Bay sidelines because he lost his best friend, his soulmate, Micah Parsons, and his heart's with Micah in Green Bay. It's like he gave up when Micah got traded, and it rubbed off on the defense. And now I'm hoping that we got the Micah game behind us, that we can shed all that and refocus and restart and jumpstart. Because the best thing I saw on Sunday night from the defense was as they drove, and they drove and drove and drove, just when I thought they were going to go in for a score, Trevon Diggs made one play. He made one play. He didn't make a tackle. That was pretty good. But he made one play on a screen pass to Golden. One play. He saw it, sniffed it, smelled it, jumped it. 3-yard loss. And that's when Matt LaFleur gave up and played for 3, as we played for 3. And I have to mention the last pass because Jack Sanford, I don't know. He's the classic Bill Parcells memorial. Bill used to call him Jags, just another guy. Jack Sanford, who came from Matt Eberflus from Chicago, came with Matt. Matt's Eberflub to me. They're not hearing him. They're not feeling him. They're not seeing him because this defense is way better than it has played under Matt Eberflub. It's just, and he brings his guy, Jack Sanborn, in. And Jack makes one play. I know he had a bunch of tackles because they're just running wild down the field. He tries hard. He's another one of those try-hard guys who just can't play. He's just another guy. He makes one play in the game because his back is turned and he doesn't ever see the football as he's guarding Matthew Golden along, to the end line, and they tried one last desperation throw from Jordan Love, and it hit Jack. I couldn't tell if it hit him in the back or the back of the helmet. They didn't replay it. It hit him somewhere because his back was completely to the ball. Obviously, if he gets his head around, the game's over. But he's not that guy. He's just another guy. J-A-G, Jag. So he makes one play because he never sees the football. And I thought the ball hit him and then the turf a split second later than the clock operator did, because the clock operator, who is hired by the league but lives in the vicinity of Jerry World, somewhere in North Texas, usually you get a little home cooking on that stop, and it goes a split second longer, and the clock goes to 0:00, and we have to do a review or whatever, but 1 second was left when the clock operator hit stop. I thought it was zeros. If it had been zeros, we'd be talking about a Cowboy victory right now. But I'll take it as it's not even a moral victory. It's just a win for the Dallas Cowboys. It's a season saver, 40-40. Who knew? Who saw that coming? Without CeeDee Lamb, my offense looked as explosive as any offense in the league, including Detroit's. It did. So now to what's left of the Dallas Cowboys. You can call me crazy. You can laugh at me. You can scoff at me. You can ridicule me. You can dismiss me as a classically, typically delusional Dallas Cowboy fan. I still believe in this football team, and I believe this team is going to wind up 10-6 and 1, obviously now, 10-6 and 1, and go to the NFL playoffs. That's what I believe the fate of this team will be, because I believe we are about to go to New York and beat the Jets and Justin Fields, whom we did beat when he was the quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers last year. This week on Sunday night at Pittsburgh, we beat Justin Fields and did a number on him. He had 130 yards passing and had a terrible 32 QBR. We did a pretty good number on him. He's going to run for some yards because he's the best running quarterback out there. He's better than Lamar to me, because when he gets unwound, oh God, he looks like Eric Dickerson to me. He can do that, but we contained him, basically controlled him. We'll beat the Jets. Then we go to Carolina. We can beat Carolina. They're dangerous at home. They routed Atlanta and Michael Penix Jr. at home. It's 30-0. But we can beat Carolina, and we'll beat Carolina. Then we come home and play Washington. We beat Jaden Daniels and company at Washington without Dak last year. We beat them. I say we'll beat them again this year. We always beat them once. We can beat them at home. It's a arch rivalry, historical rivalry. We'll beat Washington. That would be 3 in a row, and we'd be right back in that Cowboy saddle again. We have some hard games, such as the next one at Denver, that I don't think we can win. But we have a lot of games. There's back-to-back Monday nighters with a bye in between. I believe we can beat Arizona at home. I believe we can win at Las Vegas on Monday night. And there are a few other games, such as the Chargers game. We've beaten Justin Herbert, turned him to Sherbert, twice in his career already, and I believe we could beat him again at home. I'm just saying we can get to 10. Heck, we always figure out some way to beat Philadelphia one time, and I saw us lose 24-20 and hold the Philadelphia Eagles. I know they've struggled in some second halves before, but we held them to 3 points on a 58-yard field goal in the second half at Philly in the Thursday night opener. And CeeDee Lamb, of all people, my most trustworthy player, dropped 2 huge, great late throws, 2 big ones that could have, should have, would have won the game. CeeDee dropped 2 balls, 4 for the game, but 2 late, that would have won that game. I'm convinced of it. We lost 24-20. I saw the defense do that. So when I think about my Dallas Cowboy defense, I've got Trevon Diggs and Deron Bland, and I know they're both beat up, but they've both led the league in interceptions, and they're both pretty good, maybe really good. And I know Malik Hooker hurt a toe or something the other night. I don't know what his status is going to be. But again, when he plays and Donovan Wilson plays, I'm pretty secure. At least I thought I was. I like both of them. And I think Wanye Thomas is pretty good. He blocked the kick the other night, the extra point that turned into 2 points for Dallas. And then this pass rush, I don't know what's wrong with it, because there's a lot that could be right with it. James Houston I think he's a force. I mentioned him earlier. I like him, play him more. Ezra Ruwaku, second-round pick. I've been raving about him since they picked him. I started to see flashes, number 41 the other night. Dante Fowler led Washington in sacks with 10.5 last year. I think he's got 6 or 7 in him. I think we'll see that. I saw Clowney flash a few times as they added him. Kenny Clark was a great pickup. He was the linchpin in that deal for Jerry Jones for Micah. to play alongside Odigizua. They gave him a bunch of money in the offseason because he's worth it, and he can rush the passer up the middle. So can Kenny Clark. DeMarvion Overshown will eventually be the best player on this defense, and he's ahead of schedule, or so he says, to come back sooner than later. I don't know, couple, 3 weeks. Maybe he's going to give it a shot. Change life. Remember I said this, change life on this defense. This defense has to get better. Siobhan Revel, they stole him in the 3rd round because he wrecked his knee. Should have been a first-round pick. He's due to come back sooner than later. I don't know. Maybe it's just Eberflub. I don't know. But the point is, there's too much firepower here. I didn't mention Sam Williams. He's got a little Micah in him occasionally. I see bursts and flashes. They're going to rise and they're going to shine and they're going to start taking the ball away. I still believe in the Dallas Cowboys defense long term. And I really believe in the offense. Dak, MVP candidate. I know they're 1-2-1, but he's playing at an MVP level. Brandon Aubrey is the greatest kicker in the history of football. He's going to win us a couple more. He already won 1 game against the Giants. He'll win us 2 or 3 more. You saw what George Pickens can do without CD. CD will be back sooner than later and give us the most dynamic duo receiver out there. Little Turpin. He's got Tyreek speed. God bless Tyreek in his recovery. Jake Ferguson is dependable at tight end. He gets open. Dak trusts him, loves him. It's Javonte, revelation. He's now 4th in the league in yards per carry. He gives us bang for buck. My offensive line is deep and effective. That's all I can call it, is effective. You can throw in all the backups and we still compete in ways the defense doesn't, that I don't understand. But the offensive line, I still trust it, banged up as it might be. I still like my team. I still like my chances. I still like the Dallas Cowboys to go 10-6-1. Maybe to win a couple of games that you wouldn't expect them to win. And shut up a lot of the Micah lovers out there in ways that I hope we shut them up on Sunday night. Okay, before I proceed, FanDuel is getting you into the NFL season with an offer you just won't want to miss. New customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. You pick a bet $5. If it wins, you will unlock $300 in bonus bets to use all across the app. You can build parlays, you can bet player props, you can ride the live lines, whatever your style, FanDuel has you covered. Look, the NFL season is obviously in full swing. You need to get in full swing. Only question is, are you ready to play? I mean, play. You need to visit FanDuel.com/skip, S-K-I-P, my first name, FanDuel.com/skip, to download the FanDuel app today and to get started. Okay, so now it's time for my picks. Starting with Thursday night. I'll be honest with you, I don't love this game. I'm not sure about Brock Purdy's health, even if he does play. It's obviously a division rivalry. 49ers at Rams. I don't know. Right now, as much as I like Kyle Shanahan and his ability to pull these things off, I was very surprised they lost at home to Jacksonville. Didn't see that coming. The Rams survived thanks to Adonai Mitchell against the Colts at home, but the Rams at home Thursday night, I just think they'll have a little too much firepower. 49ers are just too beat up, as are the Baltimore Ravens. I'll take the Rams to cover 5.5. Then Sunday, I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. I'm going to take the Cowboys at Jets. They're giving 2.5 to the Jets. Jets still have talent, as we saw flashes of last night. Garrett Wilson on the catch in the end zone. The take-it-away catch. Justin Fields played pretty well last night, all things considered. But they fell to 0-4, and I think they're going to be 0-5. And I think it's probably going to be pretty close for most of the game. But I think we're going to win it by 7. I'll say we beat the Jets by 7, so we will cover that game. And then, man, silly me, I picked the Bengals to win the AFC. And obviously, once they lost Joe Burrow, they went from many Sundays the best offense to every Sunday the worst offense. Or, case in point, every Monday night as they played, they were just horrendously bad at Denver. It is unwatchably bad. So now we got Detroit at Cincinnati. We got hottest versus coldest. This spread has risen through the week all the way to 10.5, and golden rule is never give any NFL team double-digit points at home, and I'm going to go against that. I just got Detroit after that Micah madness debacle in their opener at Green Bay. Did they ever shift back into the highest gear? They're the hottest team going on both sides of the ball. I say they're going to win by 14, so I'm going to go against better judgment and take Detroit to cover 10.5. And finally, I'm going to make one pick just from the heart. On Saturday, my Vanderbilt Commodores visit Alabama. Last year, we shocked Alabama in Nashville. Upset of the century. What was it, 40-35? And it was written off as a fluke and an aberration and a one-off. And my little quarterback, Diego Pavia, is back. And we are rolling. And we have athletes everywhere that we have not had before. And I'm here to tell you, my Vanderbilt football Commodores are no joke. They blew Virginia Tech off the field in the second half at Virginia Tech, and then they went to South Carolina, and I know Lenore Sellers got hurt near the end of the first half, but we punished them for the way they punished us last year in Nashville. We were clearly the better and more physical team than South Carolina. I never thought I would say that. We are getting 10.5 points at Tuscaloosa Saturday. I think kickoff's 2:30 Central, I believe it is. 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 out here. I love my Commodores getting 10.5. I'm not going to jinx them, but I think they have a very good chance to win the football game. I'm not going to jinx them. I said this last year right here on this podcast. I said I'm not going to jinx them, but I give them a good chance to beat Alabama. And now I give them just as good, if not a better chance of beating Alabama at Alabama. Don't sleep on my Commodores. They are serious business. Serious SEC business are my Vanderbilt Commodores. All right, quick left turn here to the NBA. It is now upon us. And the Cold War continues between LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers. So, as you might remember, LeBron reportedly was very unhappy that the Lakers extended Luka, gave him the crown jewels without extending LeBron for the 2 more years after this one that he wanted, so that he could choose to continue playing or choose to retire as a Laker, where it would be his timetable and his inclination, not theirs. Like he wanted to be paid for a lifetime of commitment to the Lakers because he feels like he was born to be a Laker and retire a Laker. And he wanted the purse strings in his hands so that he could choose. And the Lakers obviously said, sorry, no. If you do want to continue playing after this season, LeBron, it will have to be elsewhere. That's what they told him. Trust me on this. The Lakers were not happy that LeBron chose to opt in. He had a player's option back in for another, almost 53 million. So how did LeBron at age 40 childishly react to that? He posted a picture of him working out at the Cavs facility. Oh, maybe LeBron wants to go back to Cleveland. Then he posted another picture of himself working out at the Clippers facility. Oh my God, LeBron wants to be a Clipper, not a Laker. And the Lakers are like, no, please leave, LeBron. That's what they told him. Please leave. Luka is the new face of the franchise. The whole Laker contingent, Jeannie and Rob and all sorts of executives, and they all boarded their Laker jet and flew all the way to Europe to follow Luka around in Eurobasket in that tournament. Be with him. Be by his side. Show him support. So last week, if you noticed, Rob Pelinka, the GM, tried to ease LeBron into retirement, into a retirement announcement. He gave him about a 7-day lead into Media Day, which was Monday out here in LA, El Segundo, where the Lakers are housed. And Rob Pelinka said that he would love it if LeBron's story would be that he retired as a Laker. Well, the only way that's going to happen on the Laker timetable is, now that LeBron opted in, and this is clearly his last year in their eyes as a Laker, that they wanted LeBron then to sit back and say, okay, I give up. I give in. I'll announce on Media Day that this is my final year, and create that LeBron Over America tour, that farewell tour that we've seen players going back to, I don't know, Dr. J take, where they make it clear that this is it. And so every time LeBron this year would visit a road arena where he's played low those many times before, that the home team could then honor him, feed him, bless him with parting gifts, rocking chairs, whatever, silly gifts and serious gifts. That they could do that, and that LeBron would get the going away party that he deserved, that would last for all 82 into the playoffs. And I thought maybe LeBron would think about it, but no, he didn't cave in to the Lakers. Media Day Monday, LeBron just said no. He just said he's not sure what he's going to do with how many more years he's going to play, but he specifically said that not having a contract, quote unquote, doesn't bother me a bit. That's what he said. Doesn't bother me a bit, because there's no way he's going to give in to the Lakers, give them any satisfaction of knowing that he's hurt over this. But he is stung to the heart over this. Trust me. This bothers him nearly as much as Michael Jordan being proclaimed the runaway GOAT, which LeBron, and I know he is. That stings LeBron almost as badly, or a little more badly, I should say, than this does. But this really hurts him. So now LeBron's saying, screw you to the Lakers, watch this. But he's dropping little hints about, I'm going to be very careful in the way I prepare. I'm going to be overly cautious in the way I practice. He's saying, I'm not going to be all in the way you would have had me if you'd give me a couple of more years contractually, because he knows he's on his way out. So he's dropping little early hints of, I used to just give you my life, and I'm not going to give it to you anymore. I'm just going to take it a little easier this year, because I know there's further glory down the road for me. So it's interesting to me because I think the Lakers were hoping and guessing that they would have an even more motivated LeBron to show them, but now he's saying, no. But you do have to show that you're playing at a high enough level that you're going to have $50+ million worth of value on the open market after this year. So, it made me think, well, what if, again, the Lakers have the 4th best odds to win the West. I think the 6th best overall odds to win the championship. What if they won the chip this year? Let's just go to the wackiest, craziest. They're not going to get past Oklahoma City. But what if they did and they go win the chip? Would then the Lakers reconsider and bring him back a year? I say no way. They have committed body and soul and marquee to Luka, who's, what is he, 14 years younger. They've moved on. And I'm pretty sure they're betting that LeBron won't move on to the Cavs or the Knicks or wherever he might go and come back and haunt them because they think, to use LeBron's favorite word, they think he's washed. He looked washed in the fourth quarters of the last three playoff games they won after they were 1-1 as heavy favorites to beat the T-Wolves in the first round of the playoffs last year. They just faded down the stretch. Luka was no better than LeBron, but LeBron was pretty awful in the fourth quarters of the 3 straight losses, and they were gone. Gentlemen's swept in 5. But here's the point. I've said this before, but I do feel sorry for LeBron in this one way. He loves Hollywood. Second career is Hollywood-based. He and his wife and his family, they've been building their forever home up in the Hollywood Hills. He doesn't want to have to uproot for 6 long months and go put up with that Cleveland winter. It's a long, hard winter, as you probably know, in Cleveland. And listen, New York's winters aren't any walk in the park either. I know. I lived there for a long time. So LeBron is stuck because that's a real commitment at age 41 and 42 to go live in Cleveland for 6 months or go live in even New York. As much as I love New York, to have to be away from his children, and he's got the 2 sons playing, obviously would then Bronny stay with the Lakers? Who knows how this would all shake out? But he's got another one who's a freshman, obviously, Bryce at Arizona. It just would be upheaval for LeBron's life. He's got the perfect life right now, and the Lakers are pulling it right out from under him. So this most intriguing game continues, this game within the game, LeBron versus Lakers management. And I'm sorry to say this, LeBron, but this game, you've already lost. Another quick aside. Business owners are all built very differently, and there's nothing more satisfying than your business keeping up with you. When shoppers choose to buy your products, turn them into loyal customers with cheaper, faster, better shipping with ShipStation. There's a reason why so many successful businesses use ShipStation. ShipStation allows you to centralize label printing, order management, tracking, returns, and inventory in one easy-to-use platform. You can even create custom automations just for your workflow. So upgrade to shipping software that does more than just keep up with your business. ShipStation propels it forward. Start your 60-day free trial at shipstation.com/my first name, SKIP. That's shipstation.com/skip. All right, so the most shocking news of the week for me pleasantly shocking. Joe Flacco, as I call him, out as Cleveland starter. What? Blown away by that. Wait, they just upset Micah Parsons, Green Bay Packers. It was the upset of the century at Cleveland just a week ago. And now Flacco's out? I get it. They went and got blown out at Detroit, but Detroit, as I just mentioned, hottest team in pro football. But Flacco, at age 40, has fallen to have the now second worst QBR in all of football to Cam Ward. What is he? 2 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. And I can tell you what happened. This wasn't from Kevin Stefanski. No, the owner of the Cleveland Browns said, that's enough. I want to see both rookie quarterbacks. That's what I believe he said. Second on the depth chart, because he was taking 50 slots ahead of Shedeur Sanders, is Dillon Gabriel. I've told you before, I know his game, watched him a lot over the years, especially at Oklahoma. He's better than Tua. He's a little better than Tua, and Tua's okay, but Dillon's pretty good, but he's not Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders should have been starting right here, right now for the Tennessee Titans, and I believe he would be playing at a much higher level than Cam Ward has played. I believe that Jimmy Haslam said that's enough to Kevin Stefanski and overruled him because Kevin Stefanski wants nothing to do with Shedeur. He didn't want to draft him, and the owner stepped in and overruled and said, you will take him. Right now, Kevin Stefanski wants nothing to do with having to play Shedeur or even acknowledge that he's the backup, which is why when Kevin Stefanski was asked the other day, is Shedeur the backup now to Dillon Gabriel? Kevin Stefanski said, that's not my focus right now or ever. Kevin Stefanski clearly is on his way out as the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. I'm not wishing for anybody to get fired. I can just read the tea leaves here. He's on his way out. The owner has reasserted himself. He's a poor man's Jerry Jones. He knows Dion. He had dinner with Dion and Shedeur ahead of the draft, and he knows full well what Shedeur Sanders would do for this franchise. It would give the Cleveland Browns the biggest burst of positive energy and publicity I think this franchise has ever had. Shedeur Sanders is the most popular and beloved third-string quarterback in the history of the National Football League, and it ain't even close. Shedeur Sanders is the people's choice. Shedeur Sanders' jersey is one of the hottest selling in all of professional football, if not sports. And now I believe, glory be, that Shedeur Sanders will get his shot with the Cleveland Browns. And I don't hate this. I don't hate it because the Cleveland Browns have statistically the best defense in pro football. I know Detroit waxed them. Detroit's waxing everybody. It's revenge on the Micah Parsons game. But I can just tell you, with that defense and Jerry Jeudy and Njoku and that kid Fannin Jr. who just catches passes. I don't know, he just gets open and catches passes. Shedeur would light this up. Shedeur would seize the opportunity and maximize the opportunity if he gets it. Dillon Gabriel's going to get his shot. Maybe it goes on for 4 or 5 games, but I guarantee you Jimmy Haslam said, we need Shedeur to get his shot. I don't know. Maybe it's the last 4 or 5 games. He's going to get his shot now because Flacco is gone. There's no way they're going to go back to Flacco. And look, Joe Flacco has been extraordinary. What is he, 10-6 in the postseason? He's been extraordinary in the post, but regular season Flacco, as the Ravens found out after he won the Super Bowl and got his big contract. My point to you is now for the first time, I actually have a good feeling about this because I'm look, Kevin Stefanski would have gone down with the ship with Fluco. He just would have. He's just hanging on for dear life. He's going to go with the 40-year-old and hope they can win a couple more games and make it look good enough that he would keep his job. But now I have a pretty good feeling about Shedeur getting and seizing his opportunity right here, right now. Shedeur should have been the first overall pick in the draft. I'm going to say it again. The NFL, in the biggest draft shame I've ever experienced, tried to teach Dion and Shedeur a lesson. We don't do it the way you guys do it. Not in this league. Not in this good old boy grapevine league. There's no official memo out there. I just know by word of mouth, they just said, no, let's show him. And they laughed their asses off when he fell all the way to Cleveland in the 5th round. Got stuck in Cleveland, Ohio, which was obviously one place they did not want to be. But now Shedeur and ultimately his father are going to have the last laugh. And it makes me happy because this young man was born to play franchise quarterback in the NFL. He was raised to be a star in the NFL. He's deadly accurate. He can move. And he just has a command and a feel for playing this position of quarterback, the hardest position to play in sports. Nothing I've ever talked about publicly would give me more satisfaction than to watch Shedeur rise and shine as a Cleveland Brown and make them all eat their own dirt. He's going to get a shot, and he's going to seize it. And I'm just hoping, in conclusion, that his best buddy gets the right shot, the shot that he deserves in Jacksonville, because right now, Travis Hunter, thanks to Liam Cohen, the new Jacksonville head coach, is being underutilized, pathetically utilized, disgustingly utilized on both defense and offense for the Jags. And right now they're getting away with it only because they're 3-1. But when I look at these numbers, they're all wrong. I'll say it again. I'll say what I said before the draft. Travis Hunter is going to revolutionize professional football as a two-way player. He's going to make Pro Bowls on both sides of the ball, but his best side of the ball is defense. You cannot find Deion Sanders out there. The best cornerbacks I can count on one hand, and he has the ability, the capability to be one of those top 3 or 4. Heck, he could be second to Deion before all is said and done. So right now, Jacksonville has utilized him 159 snaps on offense to only 101 on defense. And on defense, he has 1 start with 1 pass deflection and 0 interceptions. That's just wrong. He's a game changer, but you have to let him play every snap on defense. You can't just cherry pick. Oh, as Liam Cohen said, well, we got Cincinnati coming up, and they've obviously got Chase and T. Higgins. So we need him more on defense. That's not how it's done. You have to let him get in the flow, get his legs underneath him as a cornerback, because he will change games as a cornerback. He is Deion capable. He's the closest thing I've seen to Deion since Deion. And I know Revis and all. No, this is it. Travis Hunter. On offense, again, 159 snaps. He has 13 catches for 30 yards a game. Weirdly, that's second on the team. They're just not throwing the ball very much. I don't know how Brian Thomas only has 12 catches, because right now he's way better at receiver than Travis is, just because Travis hasn't played enough. But They're just running the football and getting away with it. ETN, I just said they pulled off a win at San Francisco I did not see coming. ETN's almost 100 yards per game. Third in rushing. Behind Jonathan Taylor and James Cook. But number one is ETN in yards per rush at 6.1 yards per rush. Okay, so now they have a Monday night game at home against the Chiefs. Man, you better start Travis and play him every play on defense. And I'm going to quote what Deion said right here on this podcast back before the draft. I asked Deion, how would you use Travis? He said, just the way I used him in college, where he played, let's do percentage. He played about 80% of the defensive snaps and about 75% of the offensive snaps. That's high on high. He's highly capable. He's born to do both. Tracking balls in flight. I know I raved about George Pickens. Travis is even better at see ball, go get ball on defense or offense. Someday, after they lose a couple more games, Liam Cohen's going to wake up and utilize Travis Hunter as the number 2 overall pick the way he should be utilized both ways, full time. As Deion said, full time. The college game is much faster, more fast breaky, no huddly than the NFL game. There's more time between plays in the NFL because they huddle for the most part. You got to go both. You're looking at revolutionary here. And unfortunately, Liam Cohen is not seeing it. That's it for today's edition of this show. Thanks to Tyler Korn for producing, to Ernestine for overseeing, and especially to Hazel for approving.